It's lights out to a race team MotoGP here in the Spanish Grand Prix. What a start it is for Marc Marquez. So too by the Aprilia of Marco Bezzecchi. Straight away from the second row, slots himself up into second place. Good start from the second row too from Alex Marquez. Immediately up from P3 to P5. But there you go, then Marc Marquez leads. Marco Bezzecchi, he wants this laps leading record to go on, doesn't he?
He's not letting that go with an almighty fight. Marc Marquez will be under intense pressure on this opening lap. Pecco Bagnaia looks like he's dropped places. He's behind Brad Binder on this first lap. So both Bezzecchi and Alex Marquez crucially have cleared Zarco.
That Aprilia is an absolute rocket off the line. Bezzecchi up in the second. Jorge Martin's come from 10th to 5th. I think Martin's got Didier has gone backwards as well. Martin has already gained 6 places on this first lap. What a start by the Martinator.
Yeah, nightmare first lap so far for Gian Antonio. Look, he's behind Zarco and he's now side by side with Pedro Acosta on the KTM. Gian Antonio holds it, but he's in 6th position.
Marc Marquez it is then that leads. He's going to be able to hear the noise of the fans as Zarco's wide going into the Aspar corner through turn 8. That's allowed the Gian Antonio to come back through. And so this leading record is going to go, isn't it, surely now, as Alex Marquez goes on the inside of Bezzecchi into the Angel Nieto corner. It's a Marquez 1-2. The Spanish fans are in dreamland.
So it's a Marquez Ducati 1-2. It's an Aprilia 3-4. Bezzecchi and Martin. Then Gian Antonio ahead of Zarco. Acosta 7th. So he's gone down 1 off the line. He's just ahead of his fellow KTM Bastianini.
Bezzecchi's proud run is a phenomenal run of 121 laps at the front of MotoGP races is going to come to a shuddering halt here in Jerez, denied by both Marc and Alex Marquez. It ends at 121 laps at the front of Grand Prix. Confirmation there on your screens. Martin has had an absolute barnstorming start here in Jerez. He's now piling the pressure on Bezzecchi ahead of him. Jorge Martin, 6th place he recovered on that first lap. Absolutely awesome.
The run is over, but I think if he'd offered Marco Bezzecchi that first lap, he might well have taken it. Crucially, he and Alex Marquez, and now Martin, of course, have cleared Johan Zarco, and Alex Marquez already looks like he's putting some serious pressure on his older brother Marc.
We've seen in the practice start sessions just how stable, how planted the Aprilia is. Alex Marquez is trying to get on with business here very, very rapidly. On the inside he goes with brother Marc. He's levelling Marc on the brakes into the braking zone for turn 6. 73 versus 93. Alex gets the better of Marc. Now this spells trouble for the chasing pack because in dry conditions all weekend, Alex Marquez has been next level.
5th to 1st in the blink of an eye from Alex Marquez. And does Marc Marquez, or we're only on lap 2 of 25, does he have anything by way of a response? The Aprilias at the moment don't. They're around about half a second back in 3rd and 4th, and Fabio Di Gianantonio, having cleared Zarco on that first lap, is now starting to get up to speed.
No podium finish so far this season for Alex Marquez, and therefore he said to me on Thursday in the preview, oh, Marquez has gone down! Marc Marquez has taken a huge tumble in the fast right-handers. It's over. There's not going to be a first win here in 2019 for Marc Marquez. The long, long way for his 100th Grand Prix success rolls on as he rolls through the gravel trap. Marc Marquez then now is down DNF for the 2nd time in 2026. A massive dent in his early championship challenge. That was a big fast get off for Marc. Let's hope he's okay.
He got away with the crash. He looks like he is okay, getting on board the scooter back to the box. He got away with his crash yesterday in the sprint, which ultimately helped him win. There is no getting away with that one.
Turn 11. You're motoring through there, the Alex Crivier corner, 200 kilometers an hour at the tip-in. The front just washes away from underneath Marc Marquez. So for the 2nd year in a row on the factory Ducati here in Jerez, Marc Marquez crashes out early at podium contention. They can't believe it, can they, down in the factory Ducati garage. History is repeating itself here in the Spanish Grand Prix. The Gian Antonio then now, perfect time to ride on board with the Italian. That is the textbook move on the brakes on Martin down the hill into the Pedrosa corner. Digi then now up into P3.
Alex Marquez might have to just pay a little bit of attention if he's not already to what's going on behind him, as this time Bastianini overshoots turn 6, and is he going to lose another place, this time to Raul Fernandez. The KTM, the 23 was somewhere on our left, and he does sweep back in front of Raul Fernandez, but Bezzecchi did his personal best last time around on a 37.2. Fernandez back through now on Bastianini, 25 versus 23, but it looks like the World Championship leader is now starting to get stuck into Alex Marquez.
Takes some bottle that from Fernandez, that move on the inside into the Aspar corner, turn 8. So this has been a pretty ugly lap, a pretty scrappy lap as far as Bastianini is concerned. Briefly, he was ahead of Acosta into 6th place.
KTMs aren't travelling any apexes at the moment, as Bastianini then goes back ahead of Pedro Acosta. So Acosta now down in 8th place. And how good from a championship point of view is this already starting to look this afternoon for Marco Bezzecchi? Even in 2nd place, he's taking big points out of Marc Marquez and now also out of Pedro Acosta.
Yeah, and Bezzecchi didn't need to be boarded, did he, about the exit of Marquez? He was right in front of him. He saw Marc jump off in front of him on that 2nd lap at turn 11. Further back down the order, then Acosta's suffering big time here, isn't he? Acosta is going backwards now, coming through, having been passed recently by Fernandez. Bastianini. Agur is the latest one to slice his way through on the fading Spaniard.
So a 2nd is the gap behind Bezzecchi, the leading pair, back to Fabio Di Giannantonio. Di Giannantonio is matching that sort of leading pace at the moment in the mid-137s. Martin's doing high 37s. He's not quite shaken Johann Zarco off yet, and Zarco already at this stage of the race is looking very strong in 5th place. Was Marco Bezzecchi trying to give his front tyre temperature and pressure a breather? I guess we'll find out if he does start to catch Alex Marquez again. Here he comes, 2nd in picture on the 72. Jorge Martin also doing high 37s. He's in a relatively lonely 4th at the moment. He's about 8 tenths behind Di Giannantonio and a 2nd clear of Johann Zarco. And of course, Jorge Martin 2nd in the World Championship. So there's plenty of incentive for him to get up on terms with his teammate.
Doing a great job though right now, isn't he, Bezzecchi? Doesn't clearly have the pace to go with Alex at the front of this Grand Prix, but just making sure that he's building up the points, building up the big Sunday points, which are so crucial for the championship. Already 4 points clear was coming into this Grand Prix. A real blow of a date for Marc Marquez in terms of his early championship challenge. Still Johann Zarco on the number 5 LCR Honda, running in a relatively lonely P5. He might have a little bit of trouble coming behind him. Ralph Fernandez on that last lap a couple of tenths faster than the Le Mans winner last year as Alex Marquez engaged the rear ride-eye device. How low did that Ducati drop there as he powered out of that final corner?
Davide, just firstly, can you confirm that Marc's okay after the crash, and obviously how costly is that crash in the World Championship?
Yeah, sure. First of all, it's okay, and that's the main, but obviously we lose a lot of points today. It happens, we'll see. Still a lot of races to go, so we have to look forward and try to fight tomorrow to have a better bike for the future.
Thanks, Davide.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, as we were listening to Jack talking to Davide Todd, Ducati's day is going from bad to worse. Not that it really could go much worse. Pecco Bagnaia, what's happened here to a 3-time MotoGP winner here in Jerez? It looks like there's clearly some kind of technical issue that has come the way of the Italian. Look at Gigi Dall'Igna. Marc Marquez crashing out of 2nd place on lap 2, and now Pecco Bagnaia, who was in 9th, has dropped all the way to the back of the field. Still running, the engine is clearly still running, but what on earth there happened to Pecco Bagnaia? What a nightmare day, a horror show in Spain for the Ducati Lenovo. Bagnaia is pitting. Bagnaia then is pitting. So a technical issue then is going to deny Bagnaia a top 10 finish here, which is certainly not what he came for, certainly not what the factory Ducati team came for. So the factory Ducati team are going to leave the Spanish Grand Prix with a double DNF. No points for Marc Marquez, no points for Pecco Bagnaia. Disaster.
Yeah, there's no other way to put it for the factory Ducati team. It could not have gone much worse. Didn't look like either of the ride-eye devices were stuck down, and you didn't see any sign of a puncture, any visible sign. Of course, Pecco Bagnaia was eliminated in Sepang last year due to a puncture, but clearly a problem that Pecco Bagnaia has recognised will stop him from continuing in this Grand Prix. So both factory Ducati riders out. Here comes Agura, much like we saw in Austin. Agura upwardly mobile in this Grand Prix, although he wasn't able to turn that tight enough to get ahead of Enea Bastianini. This is the battle for 7th place.
Well, they say you have to take the rough with the smooth. There's been a lot of smooth in recent years for Ducati. Right now, though, it's pretty rough as far as their factory team is concerned, as Agura has an aborted attempt to take that 7th place away from Bastianini. On board once again with the Japanese rider into the final corner. Well, Alex Marquez, this will be his 4th victory in the MotoGP World Championship. Half of those would have been taken right here in Jerez. He spoke pre-weekend of there's just something extra special. Nothing really comes close to the feeling for a Spanish rider to win here the Spanish Grand Prix at Jerez. And it's just one of those feelings you don't get a taste very often. It's a moment you really have to cherish and savour. Alex is going to experience that special feeling once again shortly, very, very quickly. Massimo Rivola's got to be proud of the job that his two factory riders have done here today. All four Aprilias, all four regular Aprilias, we should say, with Lorenzo Savadori wildcarding here this weekend, are inside the top 7 once again.
Savadori has retired from this Grand Prix, by the way. He's the other retirement, along with the two factory Ducatis. Big week of testing coming up for Lorenzo Savadori, and we know he was in pain after that collision with Toprak in the sprint yesterday. Does look as if Bezzecchi has Di Giannantonio under control. The gap now is over a second from second back to third. The two Italians who are chasing the Spaniard, who looks set at the moment with around about a quarter of the Grand Prix to go to win the Spanish Grand Prix again.
It's in Alex Marquez's hands. He knows that. His team know that. He has been absolutely faultless so far. Made that very early attack on brother Marc on the brakes into the Dani Pedrosa corner, a move that Dani himself would have been very, very proud of, into that turn 6. And once Marc had crashed out, a heavy crash at turn 11 early on, well, you felt that the writing was already very much on the wall. This is another supreme start by Jorge Martin. This is from the head of the 4th row in 10th. He's going to go around the outside almost of Johann Zarco. Straight away, look, he's on the rear tyre of Zarco, who started 8th place ahead of him on the grid. 10th to 5th he was. He gained 5 places up the hill into turn 1. He got better as Jorge climbed up to 4th at one stage.
Yeah, imagine if he'd started where he qualified up in 7th place. He might well have been in that podium battle at the end of the first lap, but rather than get angry, Jorge Martin decided to get even, and at the moment he's going to be rewarded with 4th place. Here are two former Suzuki teammates going head to head, Alex Rins and Joan Mir. Alex Rins missed out on the final point by next to nothing in the sprint yesterday, and it now looks as if Mir is going to take the final Sunday points off him too. Here he comes, the 79, straight at the inside of Johann Zarco, parks it on the apex. Zarco's got absolutely nowhere to go, and he's now been passed by two Trackhouse Aprilias in 2 laps.
Mirror signal manoeuvre, thank you very much. Ayagura then up into the top 6. Classic block pass there on the brakes into turn 6. Out of the final corner we go then. What a sight this must be for Alex Marquez. The powers down the start-finish straight, 4.4 kilometres, 1 lap and 13 corners now between Alex and another brilliant victory in Spain.
The Aprilia streak, as good as they have been this afternoon, 4 bikes in the top 6 is about to be broken by Alex Marquez. This is that battle between the two Trackhouse RSGPs. 25 of Ralph Fernandez against the 79 of Ayagura. They're on course for 5th and 6th, but who will earn the bragging rights down at Trackhouse?
Yeah, Ayagura, nothing like a bit of bragging rights, as Lewis mentioned, to boast in the garage post-race. Ralph Fernandez will certainly not wanted to relinquish that 5th spot. Just see how much Agura has been able to just blitz away from Johann Zarco. Zarco's in the 39s. He knows that he's pretty well clear of Bastianini, so no point in him taking any risk. Here comes Agura. Well, he made this move on Zarco on the previous lap, and he dishes out the exact same move. Carbon copy manoeuvre there from Agura on Ralph Fernandez.
Into the stadium he comes. Last year he was already celebrating with the crowd. Are we going to see the left hand come out this time?
Yes.
Alex Marquez, out
Yes.
it comes. He knows that a second consecutive Spanish Grand Prix victory is his.
What a weekend it has been for Alex Marquez in what is his 250th Grand Prix start. His journey to the World Championship began here as a raw rookie all the way back in 2012 when he was a teenager in Moto3. But Alex Marquez, on Thursday, he celebrated his 30th birthday. That was the birthday cake. Today here in Spain, it's been a piece of cake for Alex Marquez as he wins in style the Spanish Grand Prix for the 2nd year in succession. He was never really troubled, was he? Once he passed brother Marc early on in that battle. Alex Marquez then wins his 4th MotoGP race.
Alex Marquez's reign in Spain continues. He's on the top step of the podium, with Marco Bezzecchi taking an important 20 points. Fabio Di Giannantonio rounds out the podium in P3. Jorge Martin 4th. Ayagura, an impressive top 5 finish. Ralph Fernandez, Johann Zarco, Enea Bastianini, and Fermin Aldeguer rounding out the top 9.